Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that's basically a masterclass in high-stakes strategy. This is a story where the fate of an entire people is hanging by a thread, all resting on a single conversation. Get it right, and you change history. One wrong word, and it's annihilation.
So let's just jump right in with this plea. These are the words of Queen Esther speaking to her husband, the all-powerful King Xerxes. I mean, just feel the desperation here. The stakes couldn't possibly be higher. She's not asking for more jewels or land. She is literally begging for her life and the life of her entire nation.
So where is all this happening? Okay, picture this. We're at a super exclusive banquet, the second one Esther has thrown. It's a really intimate setting. Just the king, the queen, and the king's right-hand man, Haman. The mood seems pretty relaxed, but right under the surface, a political hurricane is about to break loose.
Now, the king is just completely charmed by Esther, so he makes her this unbelievable offer. It's basically a blank check. He says, ask for anything you want, even up to half my kingdom. He has absolutely no idea that the request she's about to make is going to expose a massive betrayal right in his own inner circle.
And then she drops the bombshell. She doesn't ask for riches, she asks for her life. And for the lives of her people. And listen to the words she uses. They're so specific. Destroyed, killed, and annihilated. This isn't some vague threat. No, we're talking about a signed decree for total extermination. And it's in this exact moment the king realizes for the very first time his own queen is one of the targets.
Okay, and this is where everything changes. The whole atmosphere in the room just turns ice cold. The plot is out in the open, and things are about to get really intense.
You can practically hear the rage building in his voice with this question. Just a few moments ago, he was offering half his kingdom. Now, he's demanding to know who the traitor is. The question just hangs there in the air. Who would dare to do this?
And there it is, the explosive climax. Esther doesn't even blink. She points directly at the only other guest in the room. Can you just imagine the shock as she names the man sitting right there with them, the king's most trusted advisor, this vile Haman?
And this says it all, right? Haman walked into this banquet so arrogant, so powerful, the second most important man in the entire empire. And now, in one single sentence from Esther, his entire world is just completely shattered. He is paralyzed with terror.
And just like that, the room erupts into chaos. The king, just exploding with fury, storms out into the garden to cool off. Haman takes one look at the king's face, and he knows. It's over. His fate is sealed. So in one final, desperate gamble, he turns to the very person he was trying to destroy, Queen Esther. So now we're in the final act, and Haman's desperate scramble to save his own skin, well, it's about to become his fatal mistake. All thanks to one last, perfect, ironic twist.
So when the king comes back in from the garden, he's not any calmer. Nope, that red-hot rage has cooled down and hardened into a cold, final decision.
All right, so try to see this from the king's perspective as he walks back in. He sees Haman, who is desperately begging for his life, collapsed across the very couch where Esther is reclining. Now to us, it's pretty obvious he's pleading, right? But to the enraged king, it looks like something else entirely.
He completely misinterprets Haman's panicked groveling. He sees it as a physical assault on the queen, right there in front of him, in his own house. I mean, that's it. There is no coming back from this. What was supposed to be a plea for mercy has just been seen as the ultimate act of treason. Now, this next part is really, really important. The second the king's accusation leaves his lips, the royal guards move in and they cover Haman's face. See, back then, this was a custom that meant one thing and one thing only. The person was condemned to die. There wasn't going to be a trial, no appeal. The sentence was passed and sealed in that very instant. And right at this moment, a court official, a guy named Harbona, he steps forward. He's been watching this whole thing go down, and he has one last little piece of information, a detail that is going to seal Haman's fate with some perfect, poetic justice. So Harbona points out this massive structure standing right by Haman's house. It's a pole, or gallows, that's 50 cubits high. We're talking about 75 feet. That's taller than a 7-story building. It's a gigantic instrument of death built for everyone to see. And this is where the irony just gets chef's kiss perfect. Harbona reveals that Haman built this massive gallows for one specific person, Mordecai. And who's Mordecai? Oh, he's just Esther's cousin and the very same man who recently uncovered an assassination plot and saved the king's life. So Haman planned to publicly execute the man who saved the king.
The king doesn't even skip a beat. The very weapon that Haman built out of his own arrogance is now going to be used on him. The command is instant, and just like that, the man who plotted genocide was executed on the very gallows he built for his rival. The story ends this scene with one simple, powerful line. Then the king's fury subsided. Justice, swift, poetic, and final, was done.
You know, it's such a powerful story about how even the most detailed, airtight plans can just completely collapse under the weight of sheer arrogance. Haman thought he had all the angles covered, but he forgot to account for the one person he underestimated. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? What is that fine line between a brilliant plan and a fatal miscalculation?